In the 1900s, there once lived a German meteorologist named Alfred Wegener. He was born in Berlin, Germany on November 1st, 1880. Then, in 1915, Wegener published a book called The Origin of Continents and Oceans. In this book, he proposed the theory of continental drift. This theory stated that the 7 continents were once together and then slowly drifted apart. Alfred Wegener named his supercontinent Pangaea, which meant Greek, for all the Earth. He said it split apart 250 million years ago. He got lots of evidence to prove his theory, but was shot down many times by his fellow scientists. His first piece of evidence was rocks. He found the same exact layers of rock on the coast of Africa and South America. Alfred Wegener knew this because the layers of rock in Africa had the same thickness, age, and type as the rock layers in South America. He realized that there was no way that these layers of rock could have formed the exact same way so far apart, so he knew that they must have formed together and then split apart. Therefore, the continents are moving. Then Wegener brought his evidence back to his science partners. They thought it was good, but he needed to find other evidence to support his theory. So, Wegener set off on yet another journey. His next piece of evidence came from stuff that he found in the mountains. He saw that the mountains in the northeast stopped and started again across the ocean in Scotland. Mountain ranges can't just stop and start somewhere else, he realized. This helped him realize that they must have been together and then split apart. He went back and told the others his evidence, but they said he had to find more. Wegener's third piece of evidence was from fossils. He found Glossopteris, plant fossils called fern, everywhere. Alfred Wegener thought that there was no way it could have evolved the same way in so many different places. Therefore, the continents were once together, then drifted apart.
Wegener thought that the seed of the Glossopteris could not have crossed the ocean. He had 2 reasons for that. It was too fragile to float, and it was too heavy to be carried by the wind. Then Wegener returned his plant fossil evidence to the other scientists, but once again they told him to go find more. So off Wegener went to search for even more evidence to prove the theory of continental drift. He found 2 different animal fossils, both on each side of the ocean. He thought they could not have evolved the same way so far apart, therefore they must have been together, then drifted apart. There were 2 reasons for why there was no way to cross the ocean. Number 1, it was a land animal, so it couldn't swim, and number 2, it was a freshwater fish, so it would have died in the salt water. On this same journey, he found climate evidence as well. Wegener discovered coal in the Arctic and Antarctica. He knew since coal forms near trees, these places must have been somewhere warmer. Wegener thought that this was going to be it. Now he had evidence on rocks, mountains, plant fossils, animal fossils, and climate. He knew this would be more than enough to please the scientists. But after Wegener had explained every piece of information he had, they still weren't pleased. They told him he was so close. On this trip, Alfred Wegener looked for a while and found glacier deposits in India, Africa, and in South America near the equator. These areas were way too hot for glaciers, therefore they must have been somewhere else. But Wegener was still confused on how the continents moved. At first, he thought that it was the spin of the Earth, but physics proved him wrong. He then thought that they just plowed into each other, but this was also found to be incorrect.
And that's the story of Alfred Wegener's journey to proving the theory of continental drift. Thanks for listening. By Molly and Bridget.